Bye.
Did you know that the fashion industry abuses workers, uses excessive amounts of water, and 50% of all discarded clothing from production ends up in landfills? The fashion industry, particularly brands that contribute to fast fashion trends and fads, some of the brands like Forever 21, H&M, Zara, things like that, are contributing to climate change at an alarming rate. But there are several ways that you can help to decrease the amount of pollution that the fashion industry is causing. And some of these ways are by shopping secondhand or minimalizing your closet. And again, the fashion industry, or fast fashion, negatively affects climate change and pollution every single day. And researcher Stephen Liu from the Science Direct website says that fast fashion is a term used to indicate the strategies retailers adopt to deliver emerging trends quickly. As fashion cycles become increasingly fast, this leads to unsustainable production techniques in order to keep up with consumer demand and increase profit margins. So the factories that are used in these fast fashion clothing productions are abusing their workers by forcing them to work overtime, so much overtime that they aren't able to see their families. They're not getting paid enough. They're barely making enough to feed themselves, let alone their families. And they're not given any breaks. And fashion brands that are producing mass clothing typically use something called microfibers or like microplastics, which are not able to be broken down and being able to be reused. A lot of times they go into rivers and streams and they end up going into our ocean, which is hurting our sea life, our marine life, and it's killing sea turtles everywhere. And these factories that are producing these clothes are also using more than their share of our non-renewable resources that we will never be able to get back. And well-respected writer for Earth.org states that fashion production comprises of 10% of global carbon emissions, as much as the European Union. It dries up water sources and pollutes rivers and streams, while 85% of all textiles go to dumps each year. So again, this is just a slide to show some of the facts and figures about the impact of the fashion industry on our Earth. It's the second largest polluting industry out of all of them. It also produces 70 to 20% of the entirety of the global water pollution. And it takes 20,000 liters of water for 21 billion tons of garbage each year. And again, it is 10% of the global carbon emission. And also these factories that are using all of the waters end up polluting the water that's surrounding the factories, and it ends up hurting the workers that work in these places. So knowing the impacts of the fast fashion on environment and on the people that are working in these environments, it is important to try to make a positive change for our Earth. So fast fashion is a serious environmental problem that can be resolved by shopping secondhand or ethically shopping or minimalizing your closet. The fashion industry has caused a substantial amount of damage to our environment. However, if we start to take proactive steps towards advocating for a green-friendly fashion industry and becoming an environmentally conscious consumer, we can finally slow down climate change, says contributor Neon Lee from the Princeton Student Climate Initiative. So some of the ways to help cut down the pollution that the fashion industry is causing is to shop locally, shop secondhand, and to minimalize your closet. So when you shop locally, you're also supporting local businesses, and when you're shopping secondhand, you're helping the environment by using recycled clothing. And also, if you have excess clothing, then you can donate that to different thrift stores and give your clothes a second chance for someone else, and they can reuse them and rewear them. Also, thrifting, shopping secondhand is becoming a trend among the younger generations, and it's one of I think the best trends that our generation has, because it's helping the environment in a positive way and slowing down the rate of climate change. And also, thrifting can give you unique clothing pieces to wear instead of wearing some of the fast fashion brand clothing that everyone else has. So you're not wearing what everyone else has, you're getting to find unique and really cool pieces that you'll be able to share and tell stories about. So also there are several brands that source their products for their clothing ethically. Some of these brands are Pura Vida, and if you just do some research on which of these brands is producing locally or ethically sourcing their products, that is also cutting down the rate of pollution to our environment. So there are endless ways to slow down the rate of climate change, and these ways are easy and affordable and they're more affordable than shopping off a rack from a brand whose factories are hurting our environment and hurting the people that are also helping to produce these clothes. And our planet is deteriorating at an alarming rate. So recycling clothing and being a conscious consumer of the products you buy and where you buy them from can dramatically help slow down the process. So now that we know how fast fashion impacts our environment, we can start to take more steps to slow that change down and help our planet out. Thank you.